Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we're going over a game played by Magnus a long time ago in 2009 in the World Blitz Championship. And in this game, Magnus played probably my favorite opening to play as white, which is the Scotch game. And to be even more precise, he plays the Potter Variation, which is my favorite variation within the Scotch game. But before we begin analyzing this game, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed yet. Just click the button down below and subscribe for more videos like this one. Well, within the same championship, Magnus played this opening 4 times and he won 3 out of the 4 games, so he had a really good track record with this opening. And this is a great opening for all levels, from beginners to advanced, because you see this opening being played by all levels. All kinds of players, GMs, and even amateurs play this opening with great success, and I've been playing this opening for a long time with good results. So it all begins when you start the game playing e4 as white. And you're going to play e4, your opponent's going to reply by playing e5, and you all know you're going to develop your knight to f3, your opponent is going to develop the knight to c6, and you play d4. This is the Scotch game. And your opponent has some options here, but more often than not, they're going to take the pawn. And as they take the pawn, you recapture with the knight and establish this very strong center. And that's what Magnus did against this 2700 rated player. And here, the most common variation is when your opponent plays bishop to c5. And against this, we have the classic variation where they develop the bishop here. White is going to develop the bishop here to e3, but the Potter variation, which is my favorite one, we're going to move the knight again, breaking one of the principles of the opening. Don't move the same piece twice, but we're moving this knight, attacking the bishop, and forcing this bishop to move one more time because this bishop is undefended. So your opponent will have to drop the bishop back. And here, some people already make the mistake and try to drop the bishop to some other squares, but here, your opponent can already go wrong. In this case, the opponent, Magnus' opponents just play the move bishop to b6, and you're going to keep developing here. So the most common variation that I play is playing queen to e2, supporting this pawn right here, just in case your opponent plays knight here, you can push and harass this knight from this position. So that's why I play queen to e2. And Magnus played the same move, so that's why your opponent, his opponent, instead of playing the knight here, played this move first, so they now can move the knight here without this annoying pawn being pushed to e5. Here, I like to develop the knight and the bishop here and then castle long very quickly, and that's exactly what Magnus did. And by developing this bishop here, you are inviting your opponent to maybe trade this bishop, and then you can recapture with the queen. And if they develop the knight here attacking this pawn now, you can develop your knight, defending it and preparing for castle, okay? So that's what black did. Magnus developed the knight, defending the pawn and preparing for castling. Black castled and white castled. And as we castle here, you see this rook is pointing towards the queen. It's a very strong piece. We're threatening a lot of things here. We can start pushing these pawns right here. We can go ahead and develop this bishop as they trade here. We just take back and develop the bishop, right? This is a very typical plan, and that's what Magnus is going to do. Black took the bishop. They take back with the queen. And after a5, we are anticipating this move. So Magnus is going to move the knight away to avoid that annoying attack. So after knight to d4, Black played queen to e7, and Magnus developed the bishop, the last minor piece to be developed, attacking this knight. Now we are threatening to either take this knight or not. It's just a matter of option here, because as Black takes here, they're going to have doubled pawns, which is a minor disadvantage. So they trade the knight, took back with the queen, and then Black played queen to e5, offering a queen trade. Magnus didn't take at first. He played this move first, f3, to secure this pawn first. And after bishop to e6, then now white takes here. And after the trade, knight to a4, very creative move here from Magnus, trying to reroute this knight to a better square, attacking the bishop. And Magnus is extremely creative. He does this maneuver, attacks the bishop. Bishop has to retreat to a very passive square to defend this pawn and, of course, avoid being captured there. a4, securing this bishop here, very strong now. And after g6, Magnus again rerouting this knight to d3. After the pawn pushes, Magnus just brings the bishop back to safety. Rook to e8, c3, and now we see kind of this game going towards an end game. And after these pawns are traded, Magnus is starting to secure an advantage here. Drops the bishop back. Magnus attacks here after the bishops are traded. And the knight goes here, hitting the rook. Magnus has to move the rook. And after a pair of rooks is traded, into d3, rook to d8, knight takes, because here there's not much you can do, right? This pawn is hanging. Hitting the rook again, the rook has to move, knight just goes back, and we have this very strong passed pawn here, which is already threatening to move here and hit this knight. Very difficult for black to hold this position, right? And here it didn't take too long for black to resign. After the move king to e7 played by black, Magnus played rook to b1, threatening to advance this pawn that is attacking the knight and is a passed pawn. This is a huge advantage. It's +4 for white, and black just resigned in this very strong blitz game played by Magnus. And this game proves that the Scotch game, especially the Potter Variation, is a very strong opening to be played in faster time controls for all levels, even for the highest levels. Magnus was rated 2800 when he played this game, and his opponent was a 2700 player, 2730 if I'm not mistaken. So it was a great game played by Magnus, and this proves that this opening can be played at all levels. And if you like this video, please remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more, leave a comment down below, and as always, I see you guys in the next video.